Perfect.
All right, we'll get started. Perfect.
We'll get started. Okay.
Awesome. So we're just going to kind of jump right in because we know we only have a half hour, and we're just going to ask you questions. And then we'll go back after when you're gone and do our like intro and all that stuff.
Casey, I think we could just do like the, hey, it's Liat and Casey.
Yeah.
And then edit from there. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm excited.
Thanks for coming on, by the way.
Pleasure. So happy.
Okay. Here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Liat.
And Casey.
And we are here with episode 148. Casey, what do you have for us today?
All right. I always do a rhyme. I'm not sure if our guest knows this, but I do a rhyme that kind of gives like a little taste test or teaser to what the podcast is about. So episode 148. The Jewish dating guru is here to help Liat find a date.
First of all, I'm proud of you, Case. It does rhyme. She's not great at rhyming. She usually does words. She'll be like heart and lion. They rhyme, don't they? Good job, Casey.
Thank you.
Let's see what we could do here. Okay, so today's guest I'm super excited about, and for multiple reasons. And a lot of you guys, when we had, I know a lot of people were watching this show on Netflix as well. And I got a lot of commentary from people knowing that, you know, I'm an observant Jew. Like, Liat, have you heard about this show on Netflix? So I'm excited. When anyone asks me these questions, first of all, I could refer them to this episode we're about to talk about. And just to have this person on, because I think it's very cool. So Casey, why don't you give us the lowdown on who is on our show today?
Be honored. So today's guest is Aleeza Ben Shalom. She's an American Israeli matchmaker, relationship coach, author, and reality television personality. She is prominently featured in the Netflix series.
Prominently. Say it again.
Alan, cut that. She is prominently featured in the Netflix series Jewish Matchmaking, which follows her attempts at helping Jewish singles in the United States and Israel find love and get married. And there's a whole lot more about her, but welcome to the show, Aleeza, and you can tell everyone more about you, and we're going to ask you some awesome questions.
I am so happy to be here, and thank you for having me. And the one thing that you should know, in addition to everything that you already know, and if you haven't watched the show, you got to go watch Jewish Matchmaking on Netflix, is that this summer, our awesome dog that we brought to Israel with us just had 6 puppies.
What?
So now we have 7 dogs. temporarily.
Are you going to keep all them?
No, we're gonna maybe keep 1, and then we have to give 1 to the daddy's side, and then, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it?
So she's an Aussie Doodle, and she was mixed with a Yorkie, and they're just, I mean, mini, adorable, like colorful brown and black and white, and
so they don't shed.
They don't shed.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, this is like a new mix.
Well, Aussie Doodle and Australian Shepherd.
No, Aussie Doodle is like the most beautiful.
But they're mixed with Poodle, right? And they're the most beautiful. But when you mix with a Poodle, you get like the non-shedding version. And then we in Israel, besides our Aussie Doodle, there's all kinds of doodles, but there was only like a standard or bigger size one, and she's mini. So we can't mix her with anybody's that's too big. And we found this gorgeous Yorkie who looks just like her. They're like twins. And I was like, I made the shit up. I made the match. It's a really good
this is a match. Anyone not knowing, shidduch means it is a match.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the actual like root of the word? I mean,
I actually think it's not from Hebrew. I think it's from Arabic. But
really?
It's a shot at making a match. Yeah. But I made the match. It was gorgeous.
I feel like it'd be easier making dog matches than human matches.
I'm going into canine matchmaking. I'm done with people. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, no complication.
It's fabulous.
I love it. I love it. Amazing. That is, you said, and you have on here, which I'm sure is an important part to who you are, that you are a wife and loving mother of 5 children, and it said 1 adorable dog, which now you have 7 adorable dogs.
Well, it's 1 adorable dog with 6 puppies. They're like this big. They're the size of both my hands together now.
How big will they get?
Doubled in size. They were the size of 1 palm, and now they're 2. They're about almost 4 weeks old. They're so stinking cute. I don't know what to do with them. I just want to look at them all day.
Wait, this is off topic, and I know we're on a time limit here, but when I was in Israel for the year, there was this dog walking around, which was like this in my neighborhood that I was living in, and it was like a mastiff, and it was a mastiff, but like so, and I was like, this has to be an expensive dog, like, but it was just walking around, and I was like, I found this dog, it's mine, blah blah blah. I'm so excited. I brought it into like my dorm, my seminary, and was like, oh my God, I have this pet here. Anyways, it ended up being someone else's, but I remember just being like stoked. Because I had not seen these like designer dogs in Israel at the time.
Right. They didn't,
So it was like,
they
I just
knew.
found this like,
You have to import them. They're not here from here.
right.
We brought her with us when we came 2.5 years ago.
So you made Aliyah, guys, which means that she moved to Israel. You made Aliyah, I'm assuming?
Yes, we made Liat March of 2021, right? A year into the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So let's jump right into it today. I keep saying it, but I really am so excited. So matchmaking, first of all, I have to tell you something, which I love setting people up.
Good.
So I love setting people up. I've had one successful couple who got married. And I had this thing at one point that I was like, I am setting up Jewish couples. I am determined to get Jewish couples to mean one another.
Okay. Let's
And
hire you. Are you ready?
Then in life got busy. I mean, in the interim, I mean, life got busy. I got married years later, but I was always into like, I just love setting people up. So this is so cool that this is what you do.
Well, it's funny. I was listening to your podcast, Aleeza, the Yenta podcast.
Yes.
And I've never heard that word. I mean, I learn a lot of my Jewish stuff through Liat. I'm clearly not Jewish, but I listened to the first episode about the different types of yentas, and I texted Liat immediately. I'm like, oh my God, you're the biggest yenta I know. And you are definitely the like matchmaking connector one. Cause I know there's like 3 of you and you're kind of all a little bit different, but like every second there's a new, it's not even just dating with you, Liat. It's like just anyone. You're like, oh, I'll connect you with this person. And then I have like 5 women texting me that have fertility issues. Like, and I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
That's a matchmaker. She's just throwing people together.
I like to connect.
Yeah.
But now the matchmaker needs help. But we'll get there. Okay. So I just want to know, when you're setting people up.
Yeah.
First of all, what would you say are the main things you're looking for? Like from the get-go, or something that you could be like, this is a hard no, that it's not going to work. What are you looking at from the get-go to be like, this may work?
So I'm looking for compatibility. Everybody says opposites attract, and that's nice, but it's hard to stay married. Men and women were different enough. So if you don't need anything more opposite than that. Everything else we need to be as, I'm going to call it matchy as possible, where we will obviously naturally have things that are different about us, but we need to find more similarities. So similarities in life goals and life vision, similarities in religious connection or non-connection, if so be it. It could be location. It can be that job wise, I don't have to know who you are, understand what you do. That's okay. We can have different jobs, but who I want to become in life and the partner that I want to do it with has to be in alignment. So that's where I would start as a baseline.
All right. And when you're doing this, I want to know how often there's barriers, such as, I mean, now I feel like more trending that people actually talk about attachment styles, learning histories, relationship, histories that they've been around, potentially their family. How often does that come up as a barrier?
So attachment styles is a very big thing. There's a book called Attached, and it talks about somebody who's secure or avoidant or anxious. And right. And it really has a large play in a relationship. So if I'm secure and you're anxious and you're texting me 47 times a day, I'm like, what's going on? And what do you need from me? Like, you need my reassurance. And even if I give you reassurance all day long, tomorrow you're probably still going to do the same thing again, because it actually doesn't have anything to do with me. It has to do with you. Now, because somebody if they were anxious and I was secure, I would probably calm them down over time, because they have no reason to be anxious, because they see that I'm responsive and I'm invested because I'm secure and I give them a good foundation of everything that needs to be. But if they were dating somebody who was avoidant and like, you know, they're texting and they answer 1 out of every 5 texts and they answer it 5 hours later instead of 10 minutes later, and right, that's going to just trigger them, and it's going to raise their level of anxiety and stress to a much higher degree. So talking about attachment styles, personality styles, there's a lot of different things that we are trying to combine to get that sweet spot and that fit between two people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know now. It's, you know, I'm in a very different side of dating now that, I mean, I'm divorced. I have a beautiful little boy, Kobe. But I feel like I'm seeing this more, and I don't know if, and this is true or not, but like, I don't know if it's like, I feel like what is, obviously you're not getting first picks of the pile when you're dating later on in life. It's just like mathematically. I think
Meaning like you're getting second time around, or you're getting
not maybe second time around, like maybe they had some sort of, you know, commitment issues, whatever it is. Like there's just like they carry more petlach, as we say, or, you know, Casey, which would be like baggage.
Baggage. Yeah.
Mhm.
I caught on.
She's got the
And
lingo.
so what I'm seeing a lot of that just with different people, either like petrified of relationships, or, you know, not sure if that's really what they want. And I feel like I'm seeing a whole nother light at now dating at 33 than when I was dating at what, 21 or whatever year. So I see a lot of it.
Welcome to the other side of matchmaking.
I know. And then, okay, so I know like I think people might find it interesting if you tell them a little bit about like the process of Jewish matchmaking, because it's not necessarily just like the show, maybe like a little bit into what more religious matchmaking does look like.
Okay, so it looks nothing like what you saw in the show. What you saw in the show is Jewish matchmaking principles applied to dating in mostly the secular world. There was one religious couple, there were some traditional singles on the show as well, but what you saw was mostly principles based in Judaism and modified for the secular and the modern world. In religious matchmaking traditionally, so first of all, we can go way back and say it was more of an arranged marriage, and it was a setup, and you would have you know, kind of like the guy and the girl, and they'd come and they'd meet, and I'm going to even call the boy and the girl, they're so young, they're sometimes 17, could be 16, 17, 18, and they would meet in the living room of one of the parents' homes, and the parents would be on the side, and they would have about an hour to discuss, and the parents would say, you know, this works with our family, and we think this is a good match for these reasons, and as long as they had a meeting and the meeting was okay, not amazing, not over the moon, just okay, like it wasn't a hard no, then they say, okay, great, let's make an engagement party. And they'd make an engagement, and then they'd make a wedding. And that was traditional Jewish matchmaking. And it was either the parents that were the matchmakers, or they brought a matchmaker in from the community and said, tell us which family and which one's going to match for us. And they set it up like that. And it would happen very rapidly. Now I'm giving you an extreme case of an arranged marriage, which is not something that we see as much of today in the modern world, but it still exists in the Jewish world, and also Christian, Hindu, Muslim, like it is still happening in the world. Arranged marriages are not erased from the world. It's just not on television, because those types of people don't even own a television. So that's kind of how it has been in the more modern religious world. I'm not going to get religiously, but like a little bit more modern than what I just described. There's traditionally a matchmaker. People have a dating resume, they call it. Like you'd have a business resume, they have a dating resume. In Indian matchmaking, the show, they called it a bio or biodata. In Judaism, we call it a resume. And it has your dating credentials. Doesn't usually, or didn't used to, have a photo. It literally had your information, how old you are, where you went to school, who your family is, including who your brothers and sisters might be married to, if any of them are married, what families they come from. And then it's going to have a list of references.
And like your
that's it.
lineage also, like if you're connected to like a big rabbi or something, they may want to know.
And that's it. And that's all the data you get on that resume. And then you do your research, you call the references, you see if it makes sense. And before you set the couple up on a date, you're making reference checks and reference calls, and people are giving thumbs up or thumbs down based on that. And then you do send the couple out on a date, a real date. Usually it's like a hotel date. So all over Israel, but especially in Jerusalem, if you go
And
into
don't get
hotel
all excited, Casey. She's thinking that they're like going to a hotel room.
You saw my
No.
like, that's
Okay,
fun.
it goes like this. They enter the hotel, they sit in the lobby. If they're lucky, they have a drink together. If not,
Oh.
they sit there. They have a conversation. Like if you go into Jerusalem and you go into hotel lobbies,
You'll
you
see
will
it
see
everywhere.
people having hotel lobby dates, and they talk to each other and they see if there's a connection. And if it works, they do it again. And if it works, and if it works, mostly in this more not arranged marriage, but the next step down, they're going to date about 10 times. And at time 10, they will have chosen, like, we're moving ahead, we're getting engaged. So somewhere around 1, 2, 3 is like, I like you. 4, 5, 6 is like, wow, I think you could be my person. 7, 8, 9, 10 is like, okay, let's talk to the families. We're making wedding plans. And 10 is like, we're going to get engaged after that. And
Real
that's
sped up process over here.
that's it. And then in somewhere between, 2 to 3 months, they get married, something like that. So they could date for a month and, get married 2 or 3 months. Within 3 months, 4 months, they can be married, sometimes sooner.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, just we're behaviorists here. So there's also reasons they have MOs that we call it, motivating operations, as to why it would want to be sooner. So I think that it'd be interesting kind of to touch on the religious dating and the idea of being shomer nagia, or refraining from touch, because I think that definitely plays, first of all, I mean, I think it's very difficult, but it does make sense when people are meeting and not basing it at all on physical touch. But you could talk more about that.
Okay. So first of all, I would say that physical touch is not the main or the only reason. The main reason that people are getting engaged and getting married so quickly is because the only purpose in dating is to get married. So their entire goal is that we will date, we will figure this out, and we will get married. And because they're not touching during that period, which I'm glad you brought that up, it's a significant part of the process. Can you imagine dating? Like, ooh, go into your dating world and you are not touching. So what are you doing? You're talking, you're learning about them, you're connecting with them on date 1. On date 2, if you're lucky and you still like them, on date 3. Wow, you still like them and you haven't touched them. Now you go out on date 4, on date 5. Now I've had no physical contact with you. If I like you,
and we're talking none. We're talking like you're not high-fiving them, your knees not touching against theirs,
nothing, zero, no handshake, no hug, no nothing, zero physical contact. By date 5, if I still want to go out on a date 6, I know I like you as a human being, and I have so much information. Think about all the hours and the time that we spent together. We didn't go to the movies. We actually talked, and we're marriage minded. So what are we speaking about? How we want to raise a family, and where we want to live, and how many children we want to have, and what kind of school we want to send them to, and what kind of a future we want to build together, and what kind of a family our family is versus your family, and our customs versus your customs. And we're only talking about tachlis, as they call it, real stuff that's actually important. So by the end of 5 dates, 6 dates, 7 dates, if you're not talking about nonsense and you're not just having fun and you're not just dating for the sake of dating, what more do you need to know, right? The only thing that you actually need is more time to see that who you think you're dating is really who you're dating, and have the repetition of and the confidence to know, like, over and over again, the same thing, the same behavior. Good. Now I have confidence in who you are because I've seen it multiple times, but people make that decision within 10 dates.
Casey, this is what we call in our science repeatability, right? Like if you're seeing the same,
I just wrote it down.
I wrote it down too, because what we talk
I'm
about,
writing
like,
it down 3. I don't want to be left
write it
out.
down. No, like anytime that you're doing like any sort of research study, you're like, okay, I see that every time, like you're gonna believe something more, right? You're gonna trust your findings more if you see it over and over. So if this person is consistently kind to like elderly people or consistently nice to the waiting staff. It's like, okay, I'm going to believe this is true. It's not just this like, hey, on the first time you're coming to see me and whatever it is.
Right. And some people also, anybody who has anxiety, depression, or something else that's imbalanced and not giving them the best read on people, they can't do it in 10 dates, even in this type of community. And I often beg and plead with the singles themselves and the parents, please give them more time, 15 dates, 20 dates. We have to extend the timeline. And sometimes it needs to be doubled or more than doubled because they're not able to make a good decision so quickly. And so we want to slow the process down and give their brain more time and their body more time to adjust to the person that's in front of them.
Especially if they're younger.
Yes. Yes.
No, I think in general, I think like, well, also Casey, sorry, because we have people learning on this podcast also for the test. That's why I drop in these behavior words, not to be like, but
I love them. No, I want.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just like
I want all the language.
I mean, it's why everything we do. It's adaptation. So like the same idea. Like when you move to a city and you like, let's say you first moved to Tel Aviv and you've been living in like, I forget which city you said, and you're like, oh my god, I can't sleep at night. It's so loud over here. Like the cars, the honking, the this, the that. You adapt over time. So the same thing is kind of like that exposure and like maybe being around this person that you're not just sitting there with nerves, you're more comfortable, you're actually able to be yourself and, you know, talk from a place that is more truly you. And so that's how we'd explain that behavior.
I want to take this test and I want to study for all of this. What are we doing?
I'll send you a lot of mock exams. We've got you.
I'll get you to pass the test. If you find me a match, I will get you to pass this test backward, forward.
Wait, what can I become? What am I becoming?
A board certified behavior
analyst. Woo! Okay, I'm in. Let's go.
I mean, behavior is important for everything. Dating, life, you know.
I am so all about it. All about it. And also seeing patterns. I'm also a pattern seeking person. So like I identify things and as I see patterns and I see them repeated, I'm like, oh, red flag, red flag, red flag, or like green flag. Oh, we're good. Stop worrying. Your anxiety can go away. This is good. You consistently see repeated behaviors. This is incredible. We know there's consistency.
Yep. It's reliable. That's what we call it. Reliable. That is just happening over and over. Love it. Okay. So now going back to the show.
Yes.
How real or how accurate is the portrayal of the people on the show?
Yeah, they are who they are.
They are.
I am who I am, and they are all who they are. You listen, you don't see the full pictures. You see the snapshot of who they are, but at the core, that's who they are with fun-loving play, this, that, and the other. And depth. I just want to say, you see more of the surface level things from people, and you don't see the true depth, but the types of personalities and things that you're seeing, they accurately represented people. And the people on the show said, no, that was me. That was me. I felt.
So is there like a tryout process for the show, and you interview and do all that, like look at their resume and all that stuff?
Yes. Wow. They go through everything, and they have to not just pass my test, they have to pass Netflix and IP, the production company. Yeah, you have to pass their test too.
I mean, so obviously just being in, Jewish geography, now I know a friend of mine's husband's sister is now dating, who is it? Ori?
Yeah.
Ori. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe he's not like he's on the show, or maybe there's a deeper side to him.
No, there's always a deeper, for sure there's always a deeper side, but he is very lighthearted and playful and jokey. Like that's his, like at the core, that's who he is. Of course there's depth to who he is, but like that's how he represents himself, and he has a good time. And I did hear he was dating somebody, so that's funny that you have the connection.
Of course she knows.
I'm a yenta, as she says. Listen, you know what? It's not like you try be a yenta when you're naturally in like the Jewish world. Casey, she is like so like Casey. Yes, she is like Casey, by the way, lives in New Hampshire. I live in Dallas, and like this growing Jewish community. There's like yeshiva over here. My dad's involved in all the different things.
Dallas sometime in the future.
I'll be moving there in September.
Wait a minute. I think you're on. Wait, I'm going. Yeah, but not until January. It looks like.
Well, I'll be there because I'm moving there in September, so we should all
Okay,
go
so we're
out.
all gonna meet in January when I'm
Wait,
in
can
town for
I-
like 24
can I-
hours.
What are you here for?
I'm doing a world tour and I'm doing a live matchmaking show program. Like I literally come in, I talk a little bit about the show, I talk a little bit about me, Judaism stuff, and then we literally bring up singles that I've never met, and they come on stage, and then I train the audience how to be matchmakers, and then we do matchmaking, boom, on the spot.
So I have to tell you, let me while
you
I
have
have
to go.
your no, I'll
You have
go
to
for
go.
sure.
Yeah,
I wanted to go on the cruise, but it's at the wrong time for me.
There's another cruise coming up in Miami. You want to come on the
That
cruise in
makes more
Miami?
sense. Like the idea for me, like
January.
traveling to Haifa to
No, January. We're in January. You want to come in January?
wait,
I'll send you the
yes.
details.
Wait,
Do it.
yes. Okay, but also let me tell you something. This is my problem. People are
Yeah.
like, Liat, why aren't you dating? Okay, I live in Dallas, and I don't know if you're coming here to do like just Jews in general, but I'm a modern Orthodox Jew, right? Like I keep Shabbat, keep kosher. People are petrified by that. Number
Yeah.
one, like they're like, no, I definitely don't want someone who's observant. they. I mean, I appreciate the honesty, you know. I literally think that scares someone away more than being like, I have a child.
Wow.
I think you're right.
No, I mean it is like if that's
Everybody-
not your
everybody's
lifestyle, I
different.
get it.
Yeah, if
I
it's
mean,
not
it's
your
literally
lifestyle, it's different.
it's
right.
literally like being Amish. It's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you're not on your phone? What do you mean? Like, wait.
It's
So you
taken me a
can't-
long time to get used to it. Like when I first met her 5 years ago and came out for just like Sukkot or Sukkot or anything like those, I'm like, why are we sitting in this hut with like random paper decorations? Are you guys like literally crazy? Like, has your dad lost it? Like, this is like they're making like arts and crafts in this hut and they're all sitting out there. And we're like a week. I'm like, what is going on?
So
From the outside,
yeah.
I'm like,
No,
I mean, now I
Casey-
love it. I love it now. I'm like, because this is like, oh my God, a break.
But
You can
she
put your
loves
phone
working
away.
with me because I annoy her. I don't bother her on Friday night to Saturday. She like knows
My
she's not gonna
favorite
get one call.
24-hour
Has a
period.
weekend. She actually has a weekend because of you.
But
These are adorable.
like, what does one do? Because like I
Yeah.
know that everyone naturally, I think whether you're either in the Jewish dating world or not, they're like, no, there's no one in my city, right?
Yeah.
Like I moved to Dallas once I was married, like setting up a life here. Obviously things didn't turn out the way as expected. I never
Yeah.
thought this would be me in this statistic, but here I am.
Yeah.
Like what does someone like myself do? Because my Judaism is very important to me and like just like a big identifying part of who I am. But I want someone that I could grow with. I don't necessarily want to be like
Yeah.
trying to bring like you don't want to force someone into this. Like they're either interested in it or
Oh,
they're not.
they have to want
Like-
it for themselves. They can't do it for you. Are you bound to Dallas? Do you need to be there because of your family and child?
So
Family.
yes, and I have this company here and everyone's moving here. I have a beautiful life here. Like I have a
Great.
lot to
So he's
offer.
coming to Dallas. Great.
So
I'm
need to-
asking.
Yes,
so
so I
Dallas is
am.
So you need to probably do virtual online dating. You need to expand your network, but look in smart places like Arizona. Great. It's, not so far. We can, ship somebody over. And I would tell you, probably don't choose like big city people. Like try not to go for LA, Miami, New York, because
They're
they're
not
going to
gonna
stay in
wanna-
LA,
yeah.
Miami, and New York. Like that's just where they are. But New Hampshire, yeah, sure, we can schlep somebody out as long as they like,
There's a
don't
ton
think-
of them here. Let me tell you.
I don't think there's a Jew to be seen in New Hampshire.
It's funny though. My old boss was Jewish.
there's got to be a Chabad. There's always Chabad.
I've never. Actually, no. It's Greek Orthodox. It's not Jewish. Never mind. That's different.
Totally different.
No, but I would say look also in kind of like the middle states, even like Kansas City, Mississippi, like try to look in places that aren't main cities and start dating a little bit online. If you're involved with Chabad, connect with other
Date
Chabad.
online where? That's what I need to know. I mean, honestly,
There's Meta
these-
Chabad. You can go
That's
there.
an-
You know Meta Chabad?
that's a website.
She doesn't know this, Casey.
No, I
She's
don't.
on,
I'm like,
she's on J Swipe.
listen,
Like she's never
I'm
gonna
on-
find anyone on J Swipe.
Oh, you gotta
also,
get
I met my last husband on J Swipe, so it's a little like I have a learning history. Not that I'm scared, and you know what?
Anything can be any site can be your matchmaker. Any site.
That's what I mean, honestly, I have to say, and everyone listening, I'm like, on this podcast, I'm usually a scientist for them. I might sound a little mentalistic to anyone listening, but I truly believe like everything is from God. So like who I met was who I needed at the time. I have literally the most perfect child. Like whoever gets him, who gets me as a bonus to him is so lucky.
Mhm.
But I do think that different apps have different, like the people on these apps, like Locks Club.
Oh, there's like, there's a bunch of things. Okay. We just have to find the right one for you. So I would say you could go on apps. You can also go on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram. There's a whole bunch of dating. There's a dating scene out there. And when you plug yourself into that dating scene, you can be your own matchmaker, since you like to be a yenta and you want to be a matchmaker.
No, not for myself though.
All right, Casey, you got to get on this. Can we train you?
Yes.
We're going to
I'll
train
I'll do the pre-interviews like I do for any like person
See?
we hire at the company.
That's what we need. That's what a matchmaker does. They do.
I'm like, I know everything about her, so I can
I know,
give
I
you the
tell
good,
you,
the
like,
bad.
Yeah, I'm going on a first date with them before you do. Like, I'll get to
Mhm.
know them. I get to date everybody.
Yep. It'll be fun.
Wait, okay, so now I just need to know one thing. First of all, I don't know. I mean, whatever you have for a consultation, I would love if you do. Do you ever offer one-on-one consults?
I do. Everything's on my website.
I've
Okay,
been
so
there and
I'll
I did
go
all my
there.
research.
I'll head over there. Casey does the research. I don't usually do the research, but I want to know. So also anyone listening, in behavior, we also talk about trials to criterion when we are working with any target behavior with a client, right? So let's say the goal is like, we want them to be able to write their names. We want to know like how many trials it takes for them to be able to do it, or what's our criteria that we set. They need to write their name independently 3 times. But in Judaism, there's actually, and correct me at which part, there is something that is said that if you set up 3 successful matches, can you help me get the exact?
I have to tell you, people say it is known, and it's not just in Judaism, there's other faith-based religions that believe this also, that get 3 people married, like set up 3 successful couples and get them married, and you have a great place in heaven. That's like that's all you got to do. Now I have to tell you, because I'm a researcher, Casey, you and I are a little bit similar there. I'm like I can't find the source in Judaism. So if there's anybody listening who knows somebody who has like the source, don't tell me you heard it. I don't want to hear where you heard. I want to know where you heard it. I want to see
physical documentation.
The documentation in this line. It says such and so, not just like
you haven't found it in any of the.
No, sir. I've asked a lot of rabbis. I've asked a lot of learned people in Judaism and Torah, and I have not found it. But it is not just a Jewish thing. Actually, there are a lot of faith-based people that believe this, and I think it just goes to show you how important we all believe it is to set people up. We believe it is the greatest thing that you can do in the world. It gives you a key to heaven, right? That's how much we believe that this is the greatest deed that you could ever do. So I think that it's significant that so many people believe something where we don't have a source for it, or that I haven't yet found, which I'm going to keep talking about it on podcasts until somebody goes, Aleeza.
No, we have some researchers here. I don't know how many people like necessarily,
can you
religious Jews we have, but that's okay. My next door neighbor, I'm going to ask Rabbi Kaufman.
I mean, I'd be curious to see if it's written anywhere else, a Hindu, Muslim, Christian scripture. Yeah, tell me other scriptures. Let's see. But I'd like to know in Judaism where it is.
But if it is written somewhere, have you met your criteria?
I mean, I've helped over 200 people to get to the chuppah, to get married, to get down there.
Okay, so
we're
wow.
Good.
Can you give us seats? Can you give us seats in heaven then?
No, there's a rabbi I work with. His name is Rabbi Yisrael Bernath. He's known as the Love Rabbi. He had a show, Kosher Love, in Canada. And he's like, Aleeza, I got an idea. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start auctioning off, all of the matches, because he's also made about 200 matches. And we're going to start like 3 by 3. We're going to auction them off. And then we'll use the money that we raise and we'll help more people to get married. But then they can all have I only need 3. So I'll keep 3 and you guys, I'll dole out the rest. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
So we have an idea to do that. The only problem is that there's no source for it to be true.
I'm gonna find it.
If you find me a source, I'm telling you, we are going to auction.
I mean,
off
I
our
feel like it's
matches.
no, but I also feel like I've heard it like spoken about in actual, not just like
Yes.
rumor. I feel like in like Jewish
Uh-huh.
classes I've been to and stuff.
Yes, everybody
Right?
talks about it like it is the golden rule. Like find it for me. Find it.
We're on it.
Okay, fine. On it.
I need
We
it.
can do
I
it.
need it. This is like research. You gotta have good.
We got to back
I
up our
like you guys.
sources.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
cite
I
your
just gotta
source.
back up our sources.
Okay, I love it. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything else here that I
Is there a
wanted to
season
ask.
2?
We're waiting to hear. So everybody pray. Even if you
Yes.
don't believe in anything,
Hashem.
pray.
I'm such a goy.
Okay,
Is that what
she
it is? A
is
goy?
she's such a goy. She walks into the where she comes to like the pizza shop, which is like the classic like kosher pizza shop here.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's like you take whatever flavor they have or like whatever topping they have, because like you just take what you get. You get what you get and you don't get upset.
Yeah.
And they're like, what did they say, Casey?
Oh,
They're
I
like,
asked
yeah,
if
the
they
oven's not ready
opened-
yet.
Yeah, because like Shabbat was ending and they were opening late, right?
Yeah.
The Shabbat had
And I was like,
ended, and in case they're like, yeah, the ovens aren't warm yet, whatever. She's like, what'd you say? It was like, yeah, I know, I'm Jewish, or yeah, I know, and it was like
I don't know. Something just
she
so
was like trying to prove, like, yeah, I got it.
like I know the
It
rules.
was
Like, I mean, I
No,
find the whole religion fascinating. I really do. I think
It
it's something. I'm not religious. I mean, I grew up Christian, but not practicing anymore. But whenever I'm around Liat and her family and the traditions and the,
Yeah.
you know, just the, like you always tell me, like something that it's bigger than you, right? Something that's bigger than you out there. Like she always says, everything is planned by God, and it's such a cool faith. And I love all the traditions and the fact that you
and the community. Casey likes the community.
Mhm.
Oh, it's the best. It's the
Like
best.
they just
And
walk
that
into
is-
people's houses like it's no big deal. Like it's
Yeah,
open
you
door.
know, it's just like
I'm
come over. My
go,
house
I-
has revolving doors. It's like
in
who
my
is that?
family,
Like,
it's
no,
like
no,
you
that's not
call a
my
week
kid.
ahead. Yeah, no,
Right.
no, we're like very
No,
closed
there's
off.
no- we don't even need an hour ahead. It's just like, hi. I'm like, oh, hi. Who's this?
That's-
I'm like, no, that's not mine. That's the other. My kids. No, actually, none of my kids are here. I don't know. These are not my kids.
No, I
Yeah,
absolutely
exactly.
love it. When I'm there, I'm like, I feel like just so like life like in you. And when
Yeah.
you're like not part of that, you're like so kind of lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
it's
but now
not-
you're gonna be with me.
I'll be there in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
And
That's
she
2
creates
weeks
amazing.
today.
Casey creates diversity in the neighborhood. You know, they're like, oh my God, tattoos. What are those? Like my nieces are like, cool.
Oh my God, look at my arm. I've got a cat. I've got
You're gonna be very excited also because if the lights off or the oven's off on Shabbat, you can help out.
Trust me.
Oh, she's like the
I
community.
learned the
boy.
rules now. I used to be like so confused. Leah, I'd be like, I just wish that, you know, I had some air in my bedroom. It might be on the ceiling. And I am really gullible. So it took me a while to catch on. I'd be like, what? What do you mean? Because you can't ask directly. And now I'm like, oh, I get it.
And now she's well trained. I don't even have to ask.
Uh-huh.
That's cute.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to meet you in January. We're going to have fun.
Casey, are
We're
you
gonna
coming to this
Liat set
event?
up. I mean, I'll go I'm not going to go up there and marry.
We
But...
have Jewish people, non-Jewish people. You know, everybody
No,
loves our-
Casey's my wingman. I have to have her there.
Oh yeah,
Of
I'll be there.
course.
I build you up.
Yep.
I'm your hype girl.
Love it.
Aleeza, you're amazing. Thank you so much for taking time. I know you're super busy and it meant so much to us that we were able to get this
When you
done.
said yes, we were stoked.
Yeah, like jumping
you.
around. I was like, oh my God.
I want all your behavior terms. So do you guys have like a glossary or something? Because I need
I'll
it.
send you it. I'll
Yeah?
send you it. Yeah.
Okay.
We do have a whole glossary.
Well,
I'll send
I
you it.
also I could tell you like all the terms in relation to dating and all that. We
Yes.
have, yeah.
I want.
Like, you don't need to learn all of it, but I'll teach you like there's some things that are just like make so much sense when talking about dating or meeting
Send me
someone.
more stuff. Like I love this stuff, and if
Yeah.
I
You
didn't have
do?
to take a whole course and I could just take a test and pass, then I would be, on with
Oh,
you.
well, our
guys.
course is fun. You'd never be bored. Whatever you want, we got for you. Listen, you set me up. I'll give you whatever you want. Anything.
I love it. I'm in. This
All
is so
right.
fun.
Aleeza,
You guys are
thank
fantastic.
you.
Thank
We're gonna
you
put
so
in the
much.
show notes everywhere you can find her podcast, her website, and everything. It's a very well thought out website, easy to navigate. I loved it.
We judge websites.
I run
'cause we
our
always have issues with
website.
our own.
It's
Yeah.
gonna actually get better. We're in the process of even bumping it up and making it even better.
We're very judgmental on websites. So hearing that from us is nice. Good job, Casey. All right. Thank you so much, Aleeza. You guys, you heard it here now. And hopefully that answers all your questions. Whenever people ask me about the Jewish, now I just need to do one like on Shabbat, and that I can't like ride rollerblades on the back of their car just to explain all that. But that will be another episode. And with that, you guys know where to find us. You can find us on Instagram, Behavior Bitches Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Behavior Bitches Podcast. You could go to our website, behaviorbitches.com. If you have a topic you want us to speak about, or a guest, or you are that guest, or you want to say something nice to us, you could always do that. And you know, I love to put a desperate plea out there for you to go leave 5-star reviews. If you have something nice to say, say it. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. That's all. Go to the Apple Podcast Store. I'm determined to get us to 2,500 reviews.
We're almost at 2,000, so we're not too far.
I know. That's why I'm there.
I gotta go put a review. I'm gonna go put a review.
Yeah,
Yay.
please. As always, love ya.
Mean it.